Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 11 of Storm from the Ashes, written by Munroe Ideal and art by Mario Santoro. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Up to this point, Eternity, the embodiment of the universe, has chosen Storm as its host, granting her new cosmic powers as the Eternal Storm. Infinity, Eternity's twin sister, vanquished Galactus and his herald, the Silver Surfer, to learn her brother's location, and her search has led her directly to Storm. Meanwhile, Storm has been a target of the United States government, which is on the hunt for Jaden, a mutant child responsible for a nuclear plant explosion in Oklahoma City. Storm has been secretly harboring Jaden, under the protection of her fellow X-Men Bishop, and the FBI just found out. So as these forces converge on Storm, a raging tempest brews in the skies above in the form of Hadad, the first storm god, as he and his allied forces attempt to forge a new universe. So with that said, this issue opened in the neutral realm for all pantheons, Gem Spittle. And when we get there, we get a narration saying, Susanu, Amadioha, Sugar, Beta Ray Bill, Indra, Ukko, Seth, Lagon, Margan, the newly resurrected Zeus, and a host of many other storm gods across all pantheons. All under the same roof to discuss the fate of one mortal. A mortal by the name ORORO, the mutant, the self-proclaimed storm god of Earth. And when we pick up with this meeting of deities, we see Zeus center stage, asking his fellow gods what their verdict was. But before we got to see the results of this vote, we end up transitioning over to Jaden sitting scared on the floor as Bishop started to walk away saying, "Gotta go save the reformed world eater from the United States government." And with that said, Jaden just continued to sit there and replied by saying, "Please don't stay away long, Master Bishop." And true to his word, Bishop jumped right into action and kneed one of the agents directly in his face as he told Jaden that this would only take a minute. So as Bishop raced off into battle, the narrator went on to say, as a child, Storm was expressive, mischievous even. She wore her heart on her sleeve. But as an adult, she is often stoic, seen as the epitome of self-control. The trauma of losing her parents did not staunch her fountain of feelings, no. None of her sufferings and labor did. Everything changed when her mutant abilities manifested on that day. Our planet felt so small, so delicate, and so fragile. Her whims could send the world over the edge of oblivion to total annihilation. So she treads carefully like a titan on a bridge of sawdust. She averts her access to some of her more terrifying powers. But as Infinity stands before her, Storm unleashes all she has ever held back. The floodgates of self-control have been demolished, and fury crashes out. Tectonic plates grind against each other, terraforming the earth. With a deafening roar, Storm spews blue blazes, her wrath knowing no bounds. Suddenly the Infinity feels very finite. So with that said, as Storm drove a thunderbolt into Infinity's chest, she said, "I am Storm, a descendant of a sheikh. I share blood with Agamotto, the first sorcerer supreme. My roots run deep, far back to Ashtar, the elder god. All elements are mine to command. I am a goddess. Your brother, Eternity, possessed my body against my will. Piloted me till I gave out. Made me watch with my own eyes while he decimated my loved ones with my abilities. He made me a pawn in his games, a student of his cruel, idiotic lessons. Tragedy and poverty shredded the clothes on my back into rags. Even then, I would not give in. On the streets of Cairo, when an empty bell pushed me to put aside the morals taught to me by my parents, I trekked back to my mother's village in Kenya till my feet scabbed over. I chose 2,000 miles of treacherous uncertainty rather than remain a pickpocket. I am not a goddess because I hold great power. I am a goddess because no one controls me." So with Storm's hand held over her head, Infinity then went on to say, separated one from the other, is this the eight death and oblivion have endured for eons. Without my brother, I can barely keep myself whole. If you have the power to end me, then do it. Destruction would mean relief. So right before Storm could issue a killing blow, Galactus appeared with an outstretched hand and said, "Nothing controls you now. Yet you have permitted your emotions to hold sway over you far more than any abstract entity is capable of." And it wasn't just him, but Jaden was also there to interfere with Storm's final attack and said, "Enough lives have been lost today." So with Storm standing down, we then transition over to Gem Spittle with Zeus saying, "Enough, all those in favor of this council joining forces with Earth's storm mutant to protect the universe? And all those in favor of the council joining forces with Hadad the first on his revenge quest against the universe?" Following Zeus' statement, and the votes going in Hadad's favor, Beta Ray Bill stood to his feet and shouted, "This is madness, surely you have all gone insane. Or have the centuries of excess meat and wine finally taken their toll?" Susanoo claims his legendary blade, Kusangi no Tsurugi, from the tail of the ferocious eight-headed serpent. Zeus felled the terrible Typhon. As Indra vanquished Vritra. They are not alone in this victory. Nzatsi, Seth, Hino, and many of us have wrestled with leviathans. The universe made them our mortal foes. Made storm gods like Sugar and Inkinyamba into dragons so we may better comprehend our enemies. Our purpose is to deliver the universe from the great cosmic leviathan, Oblivion, not ally ourselves with Hadad and drive all we hold dear back into the void. So with Beta Ray done saying that, another storm god spoke up and said, why then did eternity pass us over only to handpick a mortal as his host? Why then did the universe choose a weak being as its champion? And then another god spoke up and stated, we exerted pressure and heat hoping the carbon would harden into diamond. All she did was crumble like graphite. We will fight alongside Hadad, tear down this faulty universe and from the ashes build a new one. One that is kind, one that is just, one that is ours. Now with their intentions known, Beta Ray summoned his hammer to his hand and then went on to say, why don't I exert pressure and heat on your face, Susanoo? So you may have a taste of the fury you should expect from Asgardian steel and you metal if you continue down this path? How many beings derive joy and purpose from their existence? You would snuff them all out because that existence does not please you? Now with all that said, anger started to erupt in the chamber as the Black Winter started to show up, and with determination in his eyes, Beta Ray stated, prepare for eons of gluttony to end with your swift destruction. You have finally bitten off more than you can chew, Black Winter. So with all hell breaking loose, the narrator went on to say, while the storm gods of our universe argued over which side of the Thunder War to join, the Black Winters make the choice for them. For in the Thunder War, there is only Hadad's side and the side of piled corpses. Hadad is no widowmaker. Hadad is no orphan maker. When Hadad steps into our universe, everyone dies. And on the last panel of this page, we see Hadad himself arriving. So with that situation evolving, on the next page, we pick up at the Night and Day Hospital with the mighty Galactus sitting outside the facility waiting patiently as Manifold and Maggot undergo surgery. So with sorrow in the air, Storm tells Gateway she's sorry, and then said, if I had been much more earnest in my studies with Dr. Voodoo, I would have been able to protect Maggot and Manifold from the mystical attack. If I had accepted help from all those who offered, none of this would have happened. I was just so angry. I didn't want help from anyone who could stop me from taking my revenge the way I wanted to. But the universe is cruel, it was others who paid for my errors. So I am sorry for the pain my actions have caused you. I am sorry for the irrevocable consequences my deeds have on our loved ones. With all that stated, Gateway just simply placed his hand on Storm's face and said, the present shapes the future as much as the past shaped the present. Shape a better future, Storm, shape a better universe, and just like that, a surge of energy flowed through Storm's body. And with that going on, we then transition over to the House of Ideas with Eternity coming to bargain with his father, the One Above All, for the fate of the universe. So as the One Above All stood in his splendid golden form, we quickly jumped back over to Storm talking with the Silver Surfer, and as they spoke the Surfer said, Oblivion is no more, and Eternity has abandoned our universe. Death is death, her ways have always been beyond our comprehension. Hadad splinters our forces with the Black Winter, forcing the Phoenix to return home to defend the Forge of Creation and the mutant civilization she houses within it. So as the darkness surrounds Jean went on to say, what is decay to rebirth? What is destruction to creation? And what is the Black Winter to the Phoenix? And then the Surfer went on to continue to say, the Scarlet Witch and her patron entity, the Never Queen, defend the land of possibilities to keep magic and creativity alive. And much like Jean, the Scarlet Witch showed how much of a boss she is and said, even the abyss is envious of the thing I have consumed. In your search for prey, you have found a predator. And then the Surfer ended his briefing by saying, Galactus and I will help Infinity and her avatar, Quasar, repel the Black Winter for as long as we can. So with the battle lines drawn, Galactus then went on to say, while you summon all the courage and strength you can muster to face the storm god Hadad alone. And with that said, this issue of Storm comes to an end. Now when it comes to this issue, I've got to say, Storm's writer Muruwa Ayadil is doing his thing. I can say, with confidence, that this story so far has been a solid story from beginning to now. And I love how all these cosmic entities are getting involved, including the man himself, the One Above All. But I do have one problem with the direction of this comic. As of right now, Storm is a whole problem for anyone, including cosmic concepts. So my question is, how are they going to bring her back down when this comic run is over? Because, as it stands, not many people can even hold a candle to her. Now down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.